The warning from a senior German military official has sent ripples through NATO's defence circles. Lieutenant General Alexander Solfrank, the man responsible for Germany's defence planning and head of the nation's Joint Operations Command, says Russia could launch a limited attack on NATO as early as tomorrow, if it wanted to. It's not a prediction, he clarified, but a stark reminder of how quickly Europe's security landscape could change.
If you look at Russia's current capabilities and combat power, Russia could kick off a small-scale attack against NATO territory as early as tomorrow. Small, quick, regionally limited. Nothing big. Russia is too tied down in Ukraine for that.
In his words, Solfrank's statement comes as tensions between Russia and NATO reach new heights. Since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, both sides have traded accusations. Russia insisting it's defending itself from NATO's expansionist ambitions, while Western allies accuse the Kremlin of waging a hybrid war across Europe through cyber attacks, sabotage operations, and airspace incursions. But beyond words, Solfrank's warning underscores a deeper anxiety that Russia's ongoing rearmament could reshape Europe's military balance within the next few years. He says if Moscow's military buildup continues at its current pace, a much larger assault on NATO could become possible by 2029. Speaking from his headquarters in northern Berlin, Solfrank described how, despite suffering significant losses in Ukraine, Russia's air force still retains substantial combat strength. Its nuclear and missile forces, he noted, remain entirely intact. Even though the Black Sea Fleet has been heavily hit, the rest of Russia's naval power, particularly in the Northern and Pacific fleets, remains formidable.
The ground forces are suffering losses, but Russia says it aims to boost its total troop numbers to 1.5 million soldiers. And Russia has enough main battle tanks to make a limited attack conceivable as early as tomorrow.
These comments carry weight not just because of Solfrank's position, but because of his experience. Before taking over Germany's Joint Operations Command, which was established only last year, he led NATO's Logistics Command in Ulm. His shift in focus reflects a broader change in NATO priorities, away from overseas missions like Afghanistan and Mali, and back toward defending Europe itself. Recent drone incursions into Polish airspace have only heightened those fears. Across the continent, there's growing concern that Moscow is testing NATO's response, probing its defences and perhaps even its unity. Berlin, meanwhile, is racing to adapt. Germany has announced a major increase in defence spending, loosening its constitutional debt brake to meet NATO's new military spending target of 3.5% of national output by 2029. That means boosting its defence budget from around 100 billion euros in 2025 to an enormous 160 billion euros by the end of the decade. The German armed forces are also set to expand by 60,000 troops, bringing their total strength to about 260,000 personnel. It's a massive shift for a country that only a decade ago hesitated to discuss military readiness at all. But will it be enough? Solfrank believes that the question of whether Russia might actually attack NATO depends on three key factors: Moscow's military strength, its track record, and its leadership. These three factors, he said, lead me to the conclusion that a Russian attack is in the realm of the possible. Whether it will happen or not depends to a large extent on our own behaviour. He emphasised that NATO's deterrence, its ability to signal strength and unity, will be the deciding factor in whether the Kremlin dares to act. At the same time, Solfrank warns that Russia's hybrid warfare tactics, drone incursions, cyber attacks, and disinformation campaigns must not be seen as isolated acts. The Russians call this nonlinear warfare, he explained. In their doctrine, this is warfare before resorting to conventional weapons, and they threaten to use nuclear weapons, which is warfare by intimidation. The goal, he said, is not necessarily to start a conventional war, but to provoke NATO to test its reactions and to sow fear and division. Russia wants to foster insecurity, spread fear, do damage, spy, and test the alliance's resilience, Sol Frank warned. For now, NATO insists it is ready, that any attack on one ally will be treated as an attack on all. But as Russia rearms and its rhetoric hardens, the line between hybrid and open warfare grows thinner by the day. In Europe's capitals, the message from Berlin is being heard loud and clear. Peace cannot be taken for granted, and deterrence is once again the language of survival.